Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! This happened last week. Hello, my name is Kiri. It's a nickname, and I'm a male by the way. First, let's start with an introduction. I'm a southern corn-fed Texan 17 years old teen that is a teddy bear but can be a drill sergeant when mad. I was also just transferred to Tokyo at this point of time to escape my past bullies. Now, on to my story. My what was before girlfriend and I were at Starbucks enjoying coffee. Our Genshin Impact. She was playing Genshin Impact as I was drawing Kiching from the game. We were having fun until this entitled person came up to us and said, "Hey, nice drawing. Can I have it?" Now, I would have, but I was not accepting commissions at the time. Now, me being a southern-raised Texan teen, I nicely said in Japanese, "I'm sorry, young boy, but I can't give it to you. Maybe next time." He says, "Okay, thank you, sir," then walks away. Now, I thought it was done. Oh, how I was so wrong. He came back, but with his Karen. She tells me in English, "You said no to my son about giving a drawing?" I was stunned that she could speak English, but I went ahead and said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I don't do commissions at this point. But can give you my phone number so you could contact me when I'm ready." Of course, as all the entitled people, she denied it. She said, "No, you will give me the drawing now." "You will not yell at me now. Me and my girlfriend will be on our way. Good day, ma'am." And so we went for the door. The next thing we know, she takes a steaming hot coffee and is intended to splash me, but my instincts kicked in and I dodged it. Unfortunately, that's not all because it all went on my girlfriend. I started screaming at the top of my lungs while throwing my hat on a nearby couch. As my girlfriend is screaming in pain, I signaled over to an employee to take care of her as I dealt with Karen. I then went to Karen and screamed at her. "What the hell were you thinking, you crazy witch?" And without saying a word, she sucked me in the eye, took my drawing notebook, and tried to dart out of the door. Now cops here in Japan are on another level of interception. She literally darted out, and all we heard was a scream as she was pinned to the ground. The cop had her pinned and called in an ambulance as he saw through the door my girlfriend on the floor in pain with the employee. As I was walking out to whoop Karen myself while now having a black eye, someone held me back and another one got my notebook. It was still in great shape and I pinned the drawings, and yes, we did press charges. Apparently she had 4 felonies before and this counts as 2 more, so making it 6 for her overall. We now are both writing this together and we both are okay. This happened when my daughter was about 4 months old. Let's meet the wonderful and not so wonderful cast. Me, my daughter, the entitled mother beast, and the entitled mom beast spawn. Setting: local coffee shop. One afternoon after the mommy's yoga class, I know sounds dumb, but a great way to meet mommy friends, me and one of my daughters decided to get a coffee and catch up. Well, I will get coffee, she will get that sweet milk. Well, my daughter, lightweight that she is, passes out after that milk. I decided to be wild and give that second cup of coffee. I'm drinking my second cup of coffee when a wild, entitled mother and her kid appear. The entitled kid says, "Oh, a baby." I smile but go back to reading the news and sipping my coffee. When I look up, the kid is trying to pick up my sleeping baby. I panicked, obviously. I yelled, "No, no, 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 no." The entitled mother says, "Oh, she wasn't hurting her." The kid says, "I want to hold the baby." "Well, she's sleeping, and you're too little to hold her, honey. She's heavy." "Oh, just let her hold her. My kid is very mature." "She is not a baby doll. No." "You don't have to be a jerk." "Excuse me?" During this time, the kid tried to pick up my kid and woke her up. So my baby starts crying. I pick her up and start hushing her. "Now see what you did? Leave us alone." "She just wants my daughter to hold her." The entitled mother tries to grab my baby. I screamed at her to get back in, leave us alone and turned to keep my baby away while she cried. Just let her hold her. She still keeps trying to steal my baby. Help! I open-hand punch her in the nose. At this point, the coffee shop employees jump in and pull her away. One of them says that they called the police. The entitled mother's nose is bleeding, the little kid is sobbing, and I kinda feel bad for the kid. She's pretty little, but her mom should teach her better. The employees ask us to stay and wait for the police. Good. She assaulted me and traumatized my child. My baby is still crying, so I go to a corner and start feeding her. She's exposing herself to a child. Pedophile. I ignore her and my baby finally calms down. The police came and asked us each what happened. The entitled mother says, she exposed herself to my daughter and assaulted me. I was scared that I'm going to jail. That isn't true. She tried to steal my baby and I was just protecting her. Luckily, the coffee place had cameras. She got arrested for attempted kidnapping and I have to go to court for it next month. Update. We go to court on April 14th for the criminal charges against the entitled mother for attempted kidnapping. I did not expect to update before then, but then this happened. Me and my baby went to the park this morning. We got back around 11 a.m. and there was a man standing on our porch, looking lost. My baby was in her stroller sleeping, and I put my hand in my purse and onto my mace. Can I help you? I ask. The man says, I'm looking for an XYZ. I have a package for her. He pulls out that thick envelope. I tell him, I'm her. I can take it. I take the envelope as soon as it's in my hands, and I sign for it. The man rips off his fake mustache and delivery guy hat, revealing his real identity, a legal intern. Cool. You're being sued, by the way. Good luck, he says. Yep, that's right. I'm being sued by the entitled mother. Why would the woman who tried to snatch my baby be suing me? How much damage could I have inflicted? Well, apparently I did 25,000 USD in damages. And this poor envelope was about 10 million pages detailing how she's suing me for everything that is wrong in her life. Apparently, I have broken her nose, so she's suing me for not only related medical bills, but she also wants me to pay for them to fix her pre-existing toed nose. Oh, and of course, emotional damages to her and her child. Apparently, she has anxiety and depression because of me. The kid has PTSD from the incident. And finally, I'm also being sued for slander and character assassination. Because, well, how dare I say she tried to steal my baby? Of course, at the end, she said she would be willing to settle out of court if I would drop the criminal charges. Well, I took that letter to my lawyer, and he said the judge would laugh her out of court, especially if the criminal trial goes in our favor, which is basically guaranteed. So, I will be seeing her in court on April 14th, and I will see her again in July for the civil case. Another update. I can't wait to tell my baby about all of this when she gets older. Wednesday, we found out the verdict on the entitled mother. So, let's begin. Approximately at 9:30 a.m., we are at our local courthouse. Me and my husband had dropped off my baby at his mother's, and I had considered bringing her and breastfeeding while the entitled mom was on a stand, just to irritate her. But I didn't think an 8-month-old would be able to sit quietly for that long, so instead I brought my 384-month-old husband. We went to the courthouse and I will admit I was nervous. We took our seats behind the prosecutor and we were chatting with her. The entitled mom enters with her lawyer, and if looks could kill, I will be dead. The judge and jury enter and we are ready to get started. As we are getting started, the judge is interrupted by the entitled dad and kid entering the courtroom. Impossibly the noisiest way to enter a room. Disclaimer, these were 3 very long, very stressful days, so I will be paraphrasing a lot. The judge says, "Entitled mother, you are charged with attempted kidnapping, first-degree assault, disturbing the peace, and disorderly conduct. How do you plead?" The entitled mother says, "Your Honor, I am 100% innocent. In fact, I'm outraged that I stand accused of wrongdoing. I'm a proud American and the biggest supporter of these proud, fair, and just. The judge looked already done with her nonsense. Please sit down. She was shocked and started stuttering. But he interrupted her strictly. Now, she sits immediately. The judge says, we will now proceed to opening statements. The prosecutor lays out the case, succinctly explaining that the entitled mom was a dangerous woman who attempted to rip a small baby from her mother's arm. That's when the entitled mother started screaming, No, that's not true. The judge tells her lawyer to keep her quiet, and the prosecutor continues. There is clear, indisputable evidence that the entitled mother is guilty on all counts. The prosecutor wraps up his opening statement in under about 5 minutes, explaining that the whole situation was caught on tape and that the evidence will speak for itself. The defense's opening statement was about 40 minutes long. He gave this creature's whole life story. She couldn't possibly be guilty. She was your typical suburban soccer mom, president of her homeowners association, active in her church, and blah blah blah. Apparently, because the statement's established character, they weren't off-topic enough to make the judge tell the lawyer to shut up and sit down. The lawyer talked so long that after they concluded, the judge dismissed us for the day. We come back the second day, and before the trial starts, my husband goes and grabs us a cup of pure caffeine from a booth in the courthouse. He's putting his cream and sugar in it when the entitled dad approaches. Hey man, how are you doing? Fine. This whole mess is crazy. Yep. Look man, what will happen to my daughter if her mom goes to jail? It's not good for a kid. Yeah, that's rough, sorry. Well, you could tell your wife to drop the charges, you know? Do what's best for the kids. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Come on man, be reasonable. If your wife was reasonable, we wouldn't even be here. Screw you! He then used the racist word. Get out of here, man. My husband then walks away. The second day of court starts, prosecution lays out the evidence, including the tape, calls witnesses, and all that prosecution stuff. When the prosecution calls witnesses, the defense also gets to ask them questions. They were trying to cast doubt on all the witnesses, I guess to make it seem like it was all a witch hunt against the entitled mom. Finally, it was my turn to testify and be questioned. I told my story for the prosecution, then this foolishness ensued. The entitled mother's lawyer says, It seems like you were the first to raise your voice. Would you say that is accurate? I answer, I suppose so. So that would make you the instigator. I don't think so. It cuts me off. You claim that the entitled mother assaulted you. Yes. Did she strike you at any point during this altercation? Well, not exactly strike. Did you strike her at any point? Yes, but it was too interrupted again. The jury will notice that this woman has admitted to not only being the instigator, but also the aggressor in the situation. After the prosecution lays out their evidence, it is the defense's turn. It's at this point the entitled mother takes the stand. She tells her twisted version of the events. According to her, her daughter had seen my baby and had approached me to tell me how beautiful my baby was. In response to this totally innocent interaction, I began verbally abusing her kid. She attempted to calm me, but this backfired. When I violently snatched up my daughter, she couldn't help but notice that it was very unlikely that my daughter was mine. Seeing an unstable woman snatching up an innocent, probably kidnapped daughter, she just had to intervene. When she did, I viciously attacked her. So day 3 is verdict and sentencing. On the charge of attempted kidnapping, the jury decided that there was not enough evidence to conclude that she wanted to kidnap my daughter. Not guilty. On the charge of assault, the jury was not convinced by her lawyer's attempts to demonize me. Guilty. Disturbing the peace and disorderly conduct, the tapes and witnesses lead to a guilty verdict. Now we get to the part you all have been waiting for. Sentencing. She was sentenced to 18 months of probation, 40 hours of community service, 30 hours of anger management, and $7,300 in fines. This all goes on her criminal record, and if she violates her probation or does not do what is required, she will spend those 18 months in prison. While I know many of us were hoping for jail time, I am satisfied with this outcome though, and I think it's fair. We left feeling pretty good. We have to go back to court in a few months for the civil case. Years ago, my daughter did karate. We enrolled her in one of those meat grinder used karate schools where you had to buy a karate GI, sparring chops, a boost staff, and of course sign a full-year contract. Every season, the school would put on a tournament at the local high school where the different age brackets would compete with other schools and the students would spar and perform their built kata. There were specific rules the kids had to follow for the kata competition. They were told to approach the ring, taped off square on the floor of the gym, stop, bow, request permission of the judges to perform their kata, enter the ring, bow again to the judges, perform their kata, bow again, back out of the ring, and so on. I don't remember the exact sequence as this was over 15 years ago, but you get the drill. There were a lot of steps involved. My daughter, 8 years old, was a stickler for details. She practiced her kata for days on end and memorized the instructions from her sensei. She performed her kata and followed all the steps and was extremely respectful. Admittedly, her kata wasn't perfect. Her GI didn't snap on every punch, but she did a great job in my biased eyes. Other kids let their exuberance or nervousness show. Many ran into the ring without bowing, forgot to ask permission, turned around, and ran out without bowing and other respect infractions. At the end of her age group's performance, they lined the kids up, about 20 kids in her group, and handed out third, second, and first place trophies. Surprisingly enough, my daughter won first place. Enter stage left, entitled Mom. In the bleachers near where we were sitting was the mom of one of the kids who didn't place. She loudly exclaimed that it was nonsense that her little Timmy didn't win, because his kata was perfect and that his GI snapped on every punch unlike that girl who won. She got a lot of incredulous stares and didn't get the affirmation she thought she deserved. After that tournament was over, the parents were allowed to go down and take pictures with their kids and hopped up with the referees, senseis, and judges. The entitled mom made a beeline for the judges' table and began berating them for their decision. They demanded that they take the first place trophy away from my daughter and give it to her son because his GI snapped very loudly. When they explained the respect aspect, she threw a fit and demanded to speak to the tournament organizer. He was our karate school owner, a grizzled, old ex-Vietnam vet who trained Chuck Norris. Okay, I made that last part up. Let's just say he didn't put up with her nonsense and told her in no uncertain terms that he was not going to change the results. She did not like this at all, and in front of everyone she turned to us about 15 feet away taking pictures and yelled that we needed to give our daughter's trophy to her son to make things right, and that our daughter's kata was bad and that she didn't deserve to win. The repercussions for her were immediate. The karate school owner had her thrown out of the gym and she was banned from all the future tournaments. She was also banned from coming into the dojo for karate lessons and was told she had to wait in her car or find someone else to bring her son. To his credit, he never took it out on Timmy, who actually seemed relieved that his mom got banned and acted extremely embarrassed over his mom's antics. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.